to do or not to do. I want you all to think about why your life path has been, and more importantly, what contributions you are making to improve the lives of others. Around 2 years ago, I read a story in the newspaper about an elderly Korean man in Los Angeles who was a divided family member. Because he knew that South Korean law only allowed South Korean citizens to participate in the North and South Korea family reunions. And because he wanted so desperately to have a chance to be reunited with his family in North Korea one day. This man lived without obtaining residency for over 30 years. After decades of waiting, finally he received a message that he had been selected from the lottery to have a chance to be reunited with his family. But because he did not reside in South Korea, he was cut during the second round of interviews. He was devastated, so much so that he took his own life. Another heartbreaking story tells the story of how parents were forced to leave their children behind when they arrived at the ship that was to take them to the south. One family, the Joe family, faced this dilemma. While trying to board the ship, this young mother realized that the water was too deep and rough for her children to wade through by themselves. So she decided to carry the luggage onto the boat first and then return for her 5-year-old daughter and 7-year-old son. While she was placing the luggage in the boat, all of a sudden, North Korean soldiers appeared and started shooting. The boat took off, and the young children were left alone without their mother. On her deathbed in Chicago, she asked her son to find her children in North Korea and beg them for forgiveness for the mother who had abandoned them on a strange seashore without family, food, or clothing. After reading these stories, I was reminded of the time when my daughter went missing. Her school called me at work and told me that they lost my 5-year-old daughter in the middle of New York City. My workplace was 1 hour away from the city. It felt like no one was moving fast enough. Those couple of hours felt like an eternity. I had never experienced such anguish and devastation in my entire life. I finally got to her school, and a wave of relief washed over me as I saw my daughter's face. They found her. She was okay. But the whole way there, I cried. Would I ever see my daughter again? What if I never find her? Or worse, what if she was dead? Meanwhile, for over 60 years, millions of people have lived like this, sick to their stomach, not knowing whether their loved ones are dead or alive. Their pleas continuing to echo in the void. What if my daughter had stayed missing for 1 year, 5 years, or worse, 65 years. Why? Why should the time diminish the reason to get her back to her family? Now, what is the current situation on divided family issues?
In 2008, the National Defense Authorization Act had then President Bush report on the state of reunions for Korean Americans and their direct relatives in North Korea. It paved the way for President Obama the following year to urge U.S. Ambassador to North Korea, Robert King, to prioritize reunions in accordance with the Continuing Appropriations Act of 2011. More significantly, at the urging of Senator Mark Kirk in late March 2011, then Secretary of State Clinton used a divided family card to resume the six-party talks with North Korean officials, a tactic similar to the one employed by South Korean President Park Geun-hye in August 2015 to diffuse tensions between South Korea and North Korea and install a series of inter-Korean family reunions this past week. Soon after Clinton initiated contact, Ambassador King was invited to Pyongyang to meet with officials, and a reunion pilot program for Korean American divided families was set to begin, had it not been thwarted by the passing of Kim Jong-il later that year. To this day, however, because of strained relations, there has been very limited contact between the citizens of North Korea and South Korea, and virtually no way for Korean Americans to contact family members in North Korea. The Congressional Research Service estimates up to 500,000 Korean Americans were or are divided family members. Out of the tens of thousands of Korean Americans who still have direct family living in North Korea, less than 100 Korean Americans have been able to meet their relatives through South Korea, North Korea reunions. It is a painful reminder for the thousands of Korean Americans in their 70s, 80s, and 90s that they will likely go to their graves, never to see their families again, or even find out what happened to them. Their hope has become entangled in U.S.-North Korea relations, and any chance they had to participate in South Korean, North Korean reunions was killed the moment they became U.S. citizens. These statistics emphasize the pressing need for a solution to be found to this issue before the first generation of divided families completely disappear, as well as the infringement of the fundamental human right to family that so many have endured for far too long.
So, this is not just a Korean American or Koreans issue. This is a vital humanitarian issue. When I read these stories in the newspaper 2 years ago, I knew I had to do something to help. So last year, I went to Congressman Charles Rangel and asked for his support on behalf of divided families issues. And that same year, Senator Mark Kirk and Congressman Charles Rangel introduced House Resolution 91 and Senate Resolution 587 to encourage Congress to implement United States and North Korea reunions to no avail. Now, responsibility has to since transferred to American Red Cross. However, the American Red Cross, unlike South Korean Red Cross, which has facilitated over 20 reunion events so far, said it cannot do much without a green light from the State Department.
Hi, I'm Congressman Charles Rangel, and I wish I could be with Ms. Kim as she shares with you our concern about supporting the efforts of Divided Families USA that's working hard to bring Koreans North and South together. I fought in the Korean War, and there's nothing I would like to see more is peace and the reunifications of families that have been separated since 1950. It's basically a human rights issue. It's not a political issue. It's a humanitarian matter. And nothing's more tragic for loved ones and families to be separated. I am proud that I've supported a bill that I've introduced, H.R. 40, that makes it possible for Korean American families to reunite. They're getting older now, they're in their 80s and 90s. Time is running out. We need your support for them.
미국 로스앤젤레스 연결하겠습니다.
미국요?
네, 그 흥남에서 헤어진 거랑 같고요. 나머지는 좀 더 확인을 해 보셔야 될 것 같습니다. 자, 화면에서 여동생인 것 같은 분 나오시면 말씀 한번 나눠보십시오.
제가 찾는 여동생 이름은 막순인데 윤막순.
I don't know my real name. I was adopted by a family in the United States when I was just a little girl.
아이고 저 맞을러. 아이고 한국말 뭐하네. 아이고 뭐라노?
뭐라 합니까 지금?
어렸을 때 미국으로 입양됐는데 한국 이름은 잘 모른답니다.
입양이요. 미국으로요.
I only have one clear
한 가지
memory.
기억하는 건
It was Gyeongnam Port in the
겨울에
winter.
흥남부두에서
My big brother
덩치 큰 오빠가
was carrying me on his back and
저를
running.
안고 막
And
달리는데
I remember he was scolding
그
me.
오빠가 저를 혼냈던 게 기억납니다.
그러니까 그 고향이 어디겨? 어디? 고향이 어디냐? 아까 고향이 어디냐고 물어봐 주세요.
I don't know exactly.
정확히는 모릅니다.
I was crying at Gyeongnam Port.
흥남부두에서 울고
when a
있는데
US soldier took me on
미군이 저를
board
데리고
and
배에
then
탔습니다.
sent to an orphanage.
그리고 부산에 내려서 저를 전시고아원으로 보냈습니다. 거기서 미국으로 입양됐습니다.
맞다. 우리 막스이는 귀 왼쪽 귀 뒤에 사마귀가 있습니다.
My sister Maxine has a mole behind her ear.
사마귀가 저거 맞나?
I remember.
또 기억나는 건
Please tell me more.
I remember right before we were separated.
헤어지기 바로 전에
My brother told
오빠가
me,
한 말이 있습니다.
여 운동장이 아니다. 너가 나온 게 아니다. 알아, my son. 너 잡아라, 너 잡아라.
내 동생 막순아.
Am I your sister?
맞아. 막순이 맞습니다. 막순아.
I miss you so much. Why did you leave me? Why did you leave me?
내가 이 손꼭 못 잡아서 미안하다. 막순아.
So, how we can help? You can start by spreading awareness. Let's start a small movement right here at Wellesley. Please tell your friends, tell your families, and reach out to your hometown congressmen and politicians. If anyone knows or thinks they know someone who might be or is related to a divided family member, please ask them to speak up by going on to www.dividedfamiliesusa.org. One more time, everybody together. www.dividedfamiliesusa.org. Another great resource is www.dividedfamilies.com. Please, everyone. www.dividedfamilies.com. Thank you. Finally, I would like to thank Wellesley's very own Ye Eun-jung for her work on behalf of Divided Family USA. I strongly urge Wellesley students to contact her for any questions you may have regarding this issue. Our small efforts combined can one day affect meaningful policy change and make a huge impact on many people's lives. That is grassroots power. Thank you for having me here.